Hi, my name is Freddie, and this is my group, Anon, Stephen, and Botan, and we're going to be talking about the meaning of life. And start off with Botan with the history here.
So I will be discussing the history of life and cultures.
You're talking about humans?
Yes.
Okay,
In
specify.
relation to
The other circle.
So these are ancient Greek philosophies. First, cynicism. It derives from the word cynical. It's the pursuit of self-interest, not to be confused with hedonism. It's centered around yourself and
Don't pay attention.
so yeah, it's about sort of giving yourself your own meaning, and it's about following the path that you chose for yourself because it's sort of around self-interest. Kind of in the name. Platonicism, named after Plato. It's about the concept of abstract. So for example, numbers are considered part of the abstract. They don't change, they're universal, and they're sort of like this elevated concept. So in relation to the meaning of life, the acquisition of ideas, you gain knowledge from that. So from Platonicism, the acquisition of abstract ideas gives you sort of higher knowledge. So the meaning of life is the pursuit of that.
Say so one more time for me.
So
Black, use aim instead.
Mohism is a.
You're good.
I'm going to speak now. Mohism is about the concept of love without relation. So it's about caring for others. So it's about caring for others without necessarily them having to be related to you. It's just sort of free love and taking care of one another without them having to be important to you. Confucianism, somewhat takes some ideas from Platonicism. It's about the acquisition of information and knowledge, and that should be centered around your life. And legalism doesn't really care for the meaning of life because they care about practical knowledge. So philosophy is kind of lost on that. So these are the results of a study made in 2014 about the things people described meaning gave to their life. Can anybody guess what 69 was? 69%.
Sex.
Family.
Same thing.
Family is what the majority of Americans prescribe to meaning to their life. So, throughout cultures, a majority of all, meaning of life has been described to the seeking of wisdom, the pursuit of happiness and enjoyment of life, and loving and providing it to all. There's also existential nihilism, which means there is no meaning of life, which is sort of counter to that concept.
All right. Yes.
So when we think about life, what is the first thing come to in our mind? What is life? The people can guess in their environments, like if they are happy, they think like their life is good and they enjoy their life. But if the people who's not happy in life, it depends on the person can guess about the life meaning. So we have the highest intelligence of to think about life. So each person can guess their own meaning for life. we can split it in two things, in religious and scientific. In religious, when we think why we live in our life is because to worship the God. That's the only thing we live. When we live, we have to work to get money, and to pour food to live. The first one, we have to worship to live. And in scientific, we live because we have someone yeah. We live because there's people who love us and people who love back. It depends on the person. If we have a religion, that means we live because we have to worship the God. In scientific, we live because we have someone who loves us and we love them back. So.
Alright, so, you can play that video too. So I'm just gonna play a short clip from
This is a Meeseeks box.
Miss
Let me show you how it works.
episode.
You press this. I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me! You make a request. Mr. Meeseeks, open Jerry's stupid mayonnaise jar. Yes, sirree! So Meeseeks fulfills the request. Open! Wow! And then it stops existing.
Oh my god, he exploded!
Trust me, they're fine with it. Knock yourselves out. Just keep your request simple. They're not gods.
Ricky, get out of here now! Everybody out of here! I gotta make the win! So many possibilities. My mind is racing.
If we're going to use this thing, which I'm not even sure we should, we need to keep it simple.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! I want to be popular at school. Whoa, okay!
Summer, what did I miss?
Oh, I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me! I want to be a more complete woman.
Yes.
Oh, yeah! Yes, ma'am!
You guys are doing it wrong. You said simple.
Hey there, I'm Mr. Meeseeks!
Mr. Meeseeks, I would like to take 2 strokes off my golf game.
Ooh, yeah! Can do!
Nailed it.
Alright. Okay. You just that there. So as everybody has said before, so Mr. Meeseeks has one purpose in life, and that one purpose is to fulfill the one command that they are given. And just to differentiate like everything that everybody else has said, I would like to believe that Mr. Meeseeks, they know that what their purpose in life is, and if they cannot fulfill that purpose, then they will essentially become crazy if they can't fulfill that task, as is shown in the episode. And yeah, that's basically it.
That was your presentation. You talked about Meeseeks and their purpose.
Yes.
Go ahead. You got another shot.
I mean, you can just shoot me, bro.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
So here's some of the personal opinions that we had of what we think life means. So Botan said it's to like reproduce and pass on our knowledge to the next generation, and Stephen said to find a purpose, and then that's when you're living life actually. So, and then I said it's to be happy in the moment and appreciate the little things in life. And Anand said it's to live life with the ones you love, with your family. So if we go to the Rick and Morty one right here. So in Rick and Morty, pretty much Jerry, you know Jerry, right? He has no purpose in life, you know, he's kind of boring, a loser pretty much. So Rick is pretty much the opposite of Jerry, but so if we think about that for a minute. So there's an episode where Jerry has a pitch about apples, like do you like apples or something like that, right? And then apples are like opposite of ice cream when it comes to like, apples would be like boring life, and then ice cream would be like, you know, joyful and stuff. So in Rick's meaning of life, like Rick pretty much accepts the meaning of life, and the only He accepts the meaning of life, and the only thing that brings him joy is ice cream. But we're not talking about like little ice cream. Do you guys know what represents ice cream? What it represents? Happiness. That's correct. So there's an episode where Jerry is poisoned by Ben and Jerry's ice cream because because he's a loser. He's not happy with life. So happiness kind of kills him. So, if we look at this chart here, there's a Rick and Morty, Community, BoJack, House, Game of Thrones. In the first 3 seasons, ice cream is mentioned 75% of the time. 10 times it's mentioned and eaten in the episodes. So, if we look at that, Game of Thrones has nothing. So, when in the first season, Rick is really happy. Yes?
Game of Thrones doesn't have refrigeration.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. But, so in the first season, when it starts talking more about... Cool. So the first season, they get... Rick and Morty are kind of happy, but it gets to the point in season 2 where they're most happy because there's more ice cream. So later on, they realize that everywhere else in the parallel universes, that ice cream disappears, and the only place that has ice cream is like Earth, and that's one of the reasons why Rick is nowhere else but on Earth. So that's what okay. I mean, I have a quick video here, just enough time of yes. So it's a video from a professor at from Canada.
Life isn't that hard. It's like, not only is it that hard, it's even harder than you think. So you're going to be tested, that's for sure. And if you have a sustaining meaning, then well, Nietzsche said himself, he who has a why can bear any how. Why would you look in the darkest places? Because in the darkest places you can find what still shines. If it can shine in the darkest places, then you know it's a real light. And so you look at things you don't want to look at. You have to look at the things you don't want to look at. Well, why do meaningful things? Well, first of all, what is meaning? But then why do meaningful things? The answer is, well, because life is suffering and malevolence. It's ineradicable at its core. It's like, that will take you out. Make no mistake about it. You need something you need to be armed with virtue in order for that not to turn into hell. Really, you really need that. And if it's just your hell, that's bad enough. That can be really bad, especially when you're contributing to it, right? Because then not only are you suffering, but you know you're the agent that's producing the suffering. And then maybe that's not just for you. It's like you're taking out your family. If you're really good at it, you're taking out large swaths of your community. That's hell. It's like, that's real. And no one with any sense and any experience has any doubt that that's real. And then they all can easily think of how, even though it's already bad, you could make it way worse. Everyone knows that. So what's the bulwark against that? Nobility of purpose. That's it. You have that, then you can, then you have something to set against the suffering and the malevolence. And you need, it isn't optional. That's not optional. You cannot live without it. No, it's not optional. Well, that's why it's a deep instinct. It's an instinct, meaning. It's the instinct of life. My life is meaningless. It's the spirit that's going out of you. It's like, well, the modern people, it's part of this process of criticism. We've criticized the idea of meaning so much that we don't really believe in it anymore. It's like, well, that's fine. You can not believe it. Let's try living without it and see how far you get with that. You need a reason to get out of bed on a terrible day. Okay, what's that reason going to be? Well, let's think it through. You know people who can get out of bed on a terrible day. Do you admire them? Yes. What are those people like? Are they taking responsibility for themselves? Definitely. Do they have excess capacity, so they're taking responsibility for other people? Yeah. Are they doing difficult things? Yes, obviously. The more you respect them, the more you also see that they're doing difficult things and doing them well. So what does that mean? Do some difficult things. Do them well. So pick up your goddamn burden and walk up the hill. Yep, I get it. And people do get it. And it's not surprising because that is the end. That's the alternative to hell. Accept the burdensome condition of suffering voluntarily. And you transcend. Like, you got a problem with the world? Hey man, no wonder you have a problem with the world. Like, the world is a pretty rough place, and it can use some work. It's like, have you done all your work? If the answer to that is no, then I would say, put in order what you can put in order.
Alright, we don't have much time, so I'm just gonna go over it real quick. So, that's what I personally believe, that, like, found a video online that's closest to my belief of what life is, and if you actually follow what this video says, you're guaranteed to have a better life. So, what I also forgot to mention is in Rick and Morty, they talk like the ice cream, and it's like there's subtle hints about it too. So like Ben and Jerry, and then there's Beth and Jerry, if you think about that. So, you know, ice cream equals happiness to life. So it's the ones you share it with. And thank you. That is our presentation.